Hi, it's Nancy with Garden Scroll, and today is January the 19th, 2019, and we are on our post in April. We're at the very end of April, and today our post is going to be about that fantasy fairy tale world that you go outside in and see the beauty of nature, and you don't even know if, like, maybe Wendy might fly by on a dragonfly. There's just so much wonder out there, and you just love it all. And then one day you realize, this is work and I'm tired and I don't know if I can do any more of it. And that really happens right around in April and May, because you're still putting in plants and trying to rearrange things. It's just a tremendous amount of work. So you're going to catch me in that place where I'm so tired that even my fantasy world is becoming just a regular old real world where we don't always want to live. And on my recovery, I would like to say that I'm doing great, but that's not exactly the case. I did have a setback, and for some reason my leg hurt so bad. I didn't cry, but I was right next to crying. I was moaning extremely loudly and praying and asking my husband to pray for me, and just everything was horrible. But I woke up in a much better state, thank the Lord, and hopefully I'm going to go forward. That's the plan. So I'll show you the garden today in 2018 in April, the end of April. Just outside my door, there's a fairy tale make-believe world. And that's the part of gardening I really love. It's just when you can come out, or even when you're working, and you can just do all this dreaming. The only thing about it really is that all that dreaming takes an extreme amount of work. And even though it doesn't seem like much, when you think of it a little bit at a time, the thing is, you're always doing something. Always something that needs to be done or fixed, or just something. And this gardener got extremely tired. I just kept at it for so long that I just about have had a complete just a complete fatigue. But I love the garden. I want to do it. I want to do more. Actually, in my heart, I want to finish doing these pots, and I want to get everything looking really good. There's still so many pots that don't have anything in them. And not only do I like to put stuff in them, I like to dream it up until I get it just the way I want it. Or that's not the only thing in the garden, of course, because sometimes when you get a bunch of leftover flowers, and you don't really know what to do with them, and you're so tired, you just put them all together, and then sometimes you just made something you'll want to try again and again, because not every time, of course. Sometimes it just looks like a hodgepodge, all right, but lots of times it will actually end up looking like something that you want to do again. It just, sometimes they just do better. They just do better than the other things that you thought you were going to do better, where maybe one of them will die out and you don't have your complete look that you had in mind, because some of it just really didn't make it. So it's hard to know. And then here's my sedum that I really do believe this is going to come back and be beautiful. But for right now, it's taken a long time doing it. I thought it would be right back like that pretty little bleeding heart in the back, but they're taking their time. They're just little stubs in there. I don't know if they feel like they can actually continue to live there, but I think they'll figure out that yes, I think we can. So hopefully they'll be up and going before very long. This is lemongrass, or lemon plant, lemon mint. I wish you could just smell it. If you rub your fingers across like this, smell of your fingers, it smells just like a fresh lemon. It smells so good. So last night when I came inside, this one here depicts my sister Jetty, because she loves teddy bears, or she did when she was little, and we all still associate them with her. So there's that one depicts her. All through the garden there's things that depict each of my sisters. This is the one that loves butterflies, which would be Kathy, and there's Christine with the angel. And just all through the garden there's my sisters, which I have 5, and one in heaven that I never got to meet, but I'm sure I'll meet her someday. This is the roosters. They depict Clara. Let's see, did I get them all? Kathy, Clara, Rosie. Where's Rosie? Rosie just is a rose, of course. So there's roses around. Let me see if I can find you one. I'm going to keep on going, but when I find one, I'll point it out to you, because I did get everybody else on here as far as my sisters go. I did this little angel as one of the things that I did after I was totally worn out. She's not quite finished, but when I first started it out, I had the gazania. These are gazanias, and that pretty yellow and red bloom was a gazania, and the top of it is wandering Jew. When the wind blows it, it looks all purple. That's actually the underside, and the top side is this pretty little striped color right here. And I'm going to put something else in the top there with her, maybe just another gazania or something yellow and red. This yellow and red marigold would actually do if I could find some more of those. But we've just been so busy. But I was going to tell you that gardener and me that I have become. I did not think I was ever going to get rid of her, get her to calm down enough that I could even do my nails and get ready for church this morning. But actually I finally did, and let's see, it was probably 12:30 when I realized, maybe 11:30, when I realized that I still had to do my nails, wash my hair, clean off my computer, just as far as you know what you get every day, the junk mail mostly, but you have to check and see if there's something important on there. And of course there was something important on there, because my sister is visiting from California, so she'll be here with us for a month, not living with us. She's staying with her daughter, but hopefully we'll get to see her. Oh, this is a new plant that came in too, that gardener was working on, putting those in the ground. That this one right here is called a, I'm sorry, I forgot what the name of it was, but it's a black elephant ear, and it has a special name, and I didn't even know it when I ordered it, but actually a portion of it, the sales from it goes for Alzheimer's, so that was a pleasant little surprise that I actually did that for a good cause, as well as for the good cause of my garden. But that gardener, she just wouldn't hardly let me go yesterday, or even, it's been so many days that the gardener's taken over me that I'm so far behind everything else, and I need probably at least 4 days to do a project, and so I'm trying, or she was trying to get to get it all ready, so I could do that and take that time and something else. But it's just so much, and then you get so keyed up being the gardener that it's hard to get back to just being yourself. But also, as I'm seeing this, I remember the time the roly-polies took those out for me, and then I couldn't find any more in that particular color. But hopefully that won't happen. I need to get some eliminator granules out here on all of this stuff before any of that should happen. And I actually have got some problem with snails too. You see, that gardener is thinking that kind of stuff all the time, and I just had a hard time getting away from being her to just be me. And even though we're one and the same, sometimes she does take over a little longer. But you can see as you look around that she has to. And I have to let her, because like I said in one of my website posts, I really do like what she's done, and I really do like the ideas she has for doing more. There's another rooster to depict my one sister. And surely, okay, here's a rose. I started to say, surely I can find a rose out here. This little girl is holding a rose. This little girl back here that I've already shown you, but I'll show you again since I forgot to point out that she's smelling a rose. That depicts my sister Rose. So that's got all my sisters, and they're not only just in these one particular spots, but all over the garden they're represented. So here we are in the backyard, and this is one of the little pots that I finished up yesterday or last evening. And we didn't find our black tar mulch that I want to use to fill up this trench all on that along that west fence. We did not end up finding that, so we'll look for that again, and when we find that, hopefully we'll get that on there. There's still, as you can see, so many pots that need to be done. There's a little bit of sedum in here, or succulent, and then that's all for that little pot. I'm needing to get it redone. Back here you can see some more columbine blooming. I did get my pink purslane moss put in this little pot, and I think it will do well. It has for me in the past, because it doesn't take a lot of water, and of course you can't keep a pot this small keep it watered well enough to put something in it that needs very much water. Here's another one of those little columbine. It's a pretty little peachy pink color. There's just, I know you're going to get tired of me saying there's just so much to do, but there's just so much to do. Here's another pot that I want to fill. Here's another pot that I want to fill. And I've been thinking about trying to get away from some of the pots and make it a little bit simpler to take care of the garden, but it's just kind of hard to get rid of them once you've had them there. It feels like an empty spot when they're not there. But but it certainly keeps a person busy. And every once in a while you forget that it's a make-believe fairy tale world out here. Look at this little butterfly. It's solar powered and it just dances around out there. I found those last season and they're really cute. Draw attention. The butterflies, actually that may have been less, that may have been longer than a year ago. My friend Alma actually got me my first one, and then I purchased one, and then one with a hummingbird on it that does that too. It's really nice. I like them even way more than I thought I would. This kind of bring the garden to life with their movement. I still have a few plants inside that I haven't got acclimatized and ready to come out. Actually just really got overly tired, way too tired. My knees bother me, and I've noticed that I'm starting to favor the one that's hurting so much that I'm starting to cause the other one to be in pain because I'm putting all my weight on it. And then when you get in the garden and start just really working, sometimes you just go ahead and use that even though it's painful, because that's really the only way I can do it is on my knees. My back just doesn't really, I can't bend it very long either. My knees truly are stronger than my back is. I've been noticing on these peonies that the wasps just love them, but when the bud is there, I guess I'm sure they're getting some kind of juices out of there, but they're always on them. Ants also, little ants also like those. There's that candy tuft. See how beautiful that would be if it was all the way around the garden. That's my dream. That's my plan. Look at this clematis or clematis. I'm not sure how you say that. I've heard people say, even just on YouTube when I've been watching it, that people have all different kinds of ways to say plants. So I guess I'm not the only one. Oh, here I'm not getting my pictures in there that well. Here's where we put the grapevine that we had to take off the other fence. Hopefully it will do well there. And this whole row all the way down is peonies and daylilies. And you can see we've got one here that's starting to open. Usually the peony buds are just huge, beautiful blooms, or blooms, not buds. Their buds are too, but the blooms, what's really beautiful and full. So I'm going to get all these pots filled out and and just where I can just water, because when it really gets hot, that's all you can do is just water all day long. I usually run the sprinkler some, and then I go ahead hand water too, because there's so many places that the sprinkler does not get, behind a bush or a tree or in a corner nook, or just lots of places where it'll still have to be walked around. But there's my fairy tale world, and there's the thing that keeps the gardener in me so busy that the real me sometimes doesn't get to come out and get other things done. Sometimes it's like the garden is the only thing I get done. But that's still worth it to me, just to have this, be able to step outside and see all this beauty, and it does take you in your mind to a different, like it's a different world practically. And I get to share it with you. I've said before that gardens are for sharing. They totally are. And just to be able to share it with you, and hopefully it will also be a witness of Christ, because that's part of my goal. That's the reason, one of the reasons. I'll tell you some of the story later of how it all came about, but this is what I feel is my ministry, so it's something that drives me. It's not just something I like, because I do love it, but the work is also very hard. Sometimes people don't realize. They think you're just out here enjoying all this beauty and just sitting and watching it with a glass of tea, and if you have time for tea, it's because you're so worn totally out that you can't do anything for a few minutes until you regain your strength and energy again. But I saw a big old bud on this one yesterday. Right there it is, so hopefully that will open soon and we get to check it out. There should be lots of things opening before too awfully long. But anyway, there is just a lot. It's a lot of hard, dirty, physical work to make it this beautiful. And I know it needs to be a lot more beautiful. Sometime in my mind's eye it is, because I have an idea of how I want to do things, and then of course those ideas get changed around. I know for so many years I wanted a redwood picnic table, and I couldn't get one. One time I picked my daughter up from her babysitter, and the people that were taking care of her at the time had one for sale, but I was giving them the absolute last of my money, so I could not even go ask how much it was. I just went on, and then look, the Lord has ended up allowing me to get this concrete one right here, which I do love. I would have loved that pretty redwood one too, but it's just nice, so nice to see answered prayer. Look at this, a peony bloom. That's the one I was trying to save from the cold. It looks like it maybe nipped it. Well, this is a clematis here, but it did nip it a little bit, just right there. But it's, thank the Lord, it just kept it for me too, and we'll hopefully get to see that one. This one looks, if I remember right, this is the one that looks like pink crepe paper, like a pale pink crepe paper peony when it blooms. I want to get this little girl's vase right here, or this pot, filled out for her, so she'll really shine in the garden. My niece I always think of her when I see it, because when she saw it, she said, "Oh, how cute!" So I remember her doing that. Garden just brings pleasant memories to you, as well as all the work that you have to do in it, but it always seems so well worth it. I, of course, remember my brother, which is, his passing is so recent, there's no way I couldn't be thinking of that. But also he has painted things for me, like this little heart birdhouse, and just everywhere he's got something painted for me, and I know he did that purposely to be remembered. I wrote a little article about Jesus saying, "This do in remembrance of me," and that's what people do when we know our time is about up. We want people to remember us. We don't want to leave the earth and not be remembered again. Even Jesus did that. Remember me when you take the Lord's Supper, he said. So anyway, that's kind of some of the thoughts that have been going through my mind, and just the extreme tiredness that I'm feeling, and I need to give it a rest for a little bit. But I've still got flowers I've got to get planted too, but hopefully I won't be as intense trying to get it all done. But like I said, I had something I wanted to do, and I still want to get that done at some point, and it's going to take some time away from the garden, so but hopefully it won't be that much time.